Greetings. It is Tuesday, December the 9th, in the nearly over year of 2025. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column on the road. And this is the Monday morning report, one day late. My apologies for yesterday. Weather and bad technology and bad internet connections tend to go together. And I wasn't able to get things put together, so I was able to do so today, so here we are. And that's just as well, because the story I'm going to talk about is not so much the immediate headlines. There's plenty of those, and I'll cover those at another time. But there's one headline in particular that we need to talk about. Excuse me. Cold weather and cold intellect is what's needed to talk about this today. That's about drugs. Now, in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, we've been treated to wonderful videos of drug boats in international waters, not having any flags and not fishing because there's no fishing equipment, carrying poison into the United States and then being subsequently blown to pieces along with their occupants and fed to sharks. We must have a lot of very, very drugged up fish in that part of the country right now, or the ocean, I should say. Well, this is something we got to talk about, because Americans think they have a right to do anything they want, whenever they want, no matter what the consequences. Drugs are a poison, not just to people, but to civilization itself. Now, one of the things I've been doing over the years here on the Aurelian Column is talking to you basically about historic relevance to what's going on. And I would like you to all look into something called the Opium Wars. That's where the Western powers forced drugs on China. Chinese civilization was arguably the most the oldest, 6,000 years old. It was obliterated by opium. Some other drugs too, but mostly opium. That led to the chaos of the late 1800s, early 1900s, eventually the rise of Mao Zedong and his band of merry, bloodthirsty men. Drugs destroy civilization. They don't expand consciousness the way people think they do. That's done with the mind. That's hard work. That's a topic I could talk about for hours. But you have people of the liberal ilk that are upset that the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard and whomever are blowing these bastards out of the water and feeding them to the fish. There were some that apparently survived an initial strike. And they were hit again and killed. Good. We have got to stop pussyfooting around with those that wish to destroy us. Now, the drug cartels are evil. They are enemy combatants. They need to be exterminated, annihilated, obliterated. If anyone's ever had anything to do with people who died from drugs, and I've never been into that stuff, but I know people who have and who paid for it with their lives, and a lot of other associated misery. It's evil. But these cartels wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Americans buying this stuff. And when I was a child, heroin was known to being something evil. People still decided to try it. Can't understand why, don't understand why, but it happens. Now, I like to say also that I miss the 20th century. I do, but I also miss the Far East. You know, where all the real cool stuff is coming from. Chinese civilization, in spite of what people are thinking. There's some bad stuff going on there with social credit scores and what have you, but they pour money into their country. Singapore, one of the most advanced places on earth, if you ask me, an amazing place. Very strict. The countries that get places have very strict discipline and no tolerance for people that poison their bodies and indirectly poison their civilization. You ever been to Singapore? It doesn't have an airport, it has a space station. A few years ago, I got to go to Beijing and spend a month there. And the subway system was just amazing. They don't tolerate drugs at all, and it shows. Now, for those of you who think it's wrong to blow up people who are transporting poison that will kill Americans, I think you're idiots. Everyone's talking about a war crime, and I think I remember reading somebody comparing these men in the water who were given the coup de grace as being like combatants. They're not even criminals. They're not even human. We're fighting for our civilization because without that, we have nothing. We have nothing. You think you're going to have your internet without civilization? You think you're going to have law and order? Even though we have some crime problems in the United States, they're nothing compared to how bad it can be, or how bad it will be if we start getting to fighting each other. No, I have no problem at all in hunting down these animals and destroying them ruthlessly. And I'm happy to see it. But at the same time, you got to remember these people that your liberal bleeding heart types are crying over, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing unless there was money to be made with people in this country. It was once said, and it's been attributed to several people, I don't know what it is, who it was, but civilization is the sound of a soldier's boots marching upstairs as a sound of silk slippers march downstairs. It doesn't mean militarism, it means discipline. It means empowerment. If the United States is to survive and thrive, if our children, grandchildren, and other prodigy are going to have anything to call their own, we're not going to do it by just being so permissive that we allow anything to go on in our country. I disagree with the current occupant of the White House with many of his actions and much of his attitude. But when it comes to this, whoa, go for it. Anybody transporting poison into the United States that can and will result in the deaths of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of our citizens, need to be dealt with as the vermin they are and extinguished from the face of the earth. They're not a life form. They're a disease. So America, you gotta make a call as to what you want. Do you want to have a decent environment to live in? Well, there's gonna be a cost. And it's not a high one. Just treat your body and treat your fellow citizens and treat life itself with respect. You'll be better for it. Anyways, to those members of the U.S. Navy, good hunting. And I hope you do a wonderful job of feeding those needy sharks that, well, they got to eat too. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends and share with your enemies, especially if they sell drugs. I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. My handle there is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. This podcast originates at Substack. My handle there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. I am up on other social media platforms, but not Facebook. And also, please consider a paid subscription or a donation. There's a link in the email that goes out with this broadcast. It literally keeps the lights on, keeps the gas tank filled, and it's cold weather these days. You need all the good food you can get. Anyways, that's it. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember, Clown World, the deep state, and all enemies of our civilization, especially those who sell drugs, must be destroyed. Good day.